U.S. President Donald Trump expects that Japan's military will reinforce U.S. forces throughout Asia and elsewhere. His comment came as he inspected Japan's largest warship with Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
Now, Mr. Abe has boosted defense spending since taking office in December 2012, stretching the pacifist constitution to ease limits on troop activities abroad. But an analyst we spoke to believes that there are deep underlying problems that the Japanese military faces.
What Japan has, it will have these two jury-rigged aircraft carriers, sort of aircraft carriers. You really need three or four. If one of them breaks down or needs overhauled, or one of them's out training, well, what are you going to fight with? Unless you're, nothing, unless your plan is to leave the work up to the Americans. Additionally, you can buy 200 F-35s, but if three Japanese services cannot do joint operations, cannot cooperate and coordinate operations, it's less effective than it should be. It looks good on paper, as I said, but Japan has, the U.S.-Japan defense relationship is still overwhelmingly out of whack or unbalanced, with Japan not making enough of a contribution. I would note Japan has some serious, very serious problems recruiting new people for its military, for the Japan Self-Defense Force. It's not surprising. The salaries are terrible, living conditions are horrible. It's not a respected profession, so even if you buy a lot of new equipment, you still have a crisis in terms of attracting and keeping personnel in the Japanese military. So that is a fundamental problem which rarely gets much attention.
Mr. Trump has left Tokyo after 4 days in Japan as state guest of Emperor Naruhito. Our senior correspondent Michio Ishida wraps up his visit.
Standing on the Izumo-class Kaga at Yokosuka Naval Base south of Tokyo, U.S. President Donald Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe together touted an alliance that they said has never been stronger.
日米両国の首脳が揃って自衛隊、米軍を撃墜するのは史上初めてのことであります。日米同盟は私とトランプ大統領の下でこれまでなく強固なものとなった。この加賀の感情に我々が並んで立っていることがその証であります。
President Trump echoed that sentiment.
Our armed forces train and serve together around the world, including right here, very special. In fact, this is the only port in the world where an American naval fleet and an allied naval fleet are headquartered side by side. The American and Japanese sailors stationed in this bay are living testaments to the enduring power of our incredible partnership.
According to the Japanese Defense Ministry, Mr. Trump was the first U.S. president to embark a Japanese destroyer. Kaga, a helicopter carrier, will be converted into an aircraft carrier, making it the first aircraft carrier for Japan since the end of World War II. When completed, it will be able to accommodate the 105 F-35 stealth fighter jets, which Japan plans to buy from the U.S. As he wrapped up this 4-day state visit, Mr. Trump repeated how honored he was meeting Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako and invited them to the White House. He also played a round of golf and watched sumo with his friend Mr. Abe. But all the pomp and pageantry couldn't eliminate some major disagreement.
And we have an unbelievably large imbalance, as you know, trade imbalance, which has been there for many, many years, Japan having the big advantage.
While at a news conference on Monday, Mr. Trump had focused more on Japan's latest bulk purchase of U.S. fighter jets. He did say he expects a trade deal will be made in August. The U.S. president has been unhappy with Japan for its huge trade surplus with the U.S., led by its automobiles. He wants to slap a 25% tariff on cars made by Toyota, Honda, and Nissan. Mr. Abe was impassive. He reminded Mr. Trump Japanese car makers have invested heavily in the U.S. and created jobs. The U.S. president also wants Japan to open up to more U.S. farm products. But Japan doesn't want to give the U.S. a better deal than the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, which the U.S. has left. No progress was reported on easing trade tension between U.S. and China, which is starting to affect Japanese companies. On North Korea, The two leaders share the view it must denuclearize before sanctions can be lifted, and Mr. Trump promised full support to bring back Japanese kidnapped to North Korea. On the recent missile test by North Korea, Mr. Trump said he doesn't see those as a violation of UN resolution, but Mr. Abe disagreed. The two leaders will meet again soon, as Mr. Trump will return to Japan in June for the G20 summit in Osaka. That will be their third face-to-face meeting in 3 months. Michio Ishida, CNA, Japan.